Of the 7 preludes in Lutyens' Opus 126, Starlight is the shortest, at 11 unmetered measures in length. Pianist Martin Jones' performance is only 1 minute and 14 seconds long, making it also the shortest movement in terms of performance time. Like the other 6 preludes in Opus 126, the title appears at the end of the prelude in italics and parentheses. Starlight is organized into 2 phrases, measures 1 through 5 and measures 6 through 11. The cadence of phrase 1 is demarcated by several factors. The tetrachord in measure 4 is the longest sonority heard in the movement so far, and it is also the first unrolled sonority in the whole movement. The cadence of phrase 1 is also marked by a repeated echoing dyad that is the highest and softest sonority in the prelude to this point. All of these gestures coalesce to signal closing. The end of phrase 2 is demarcated by a cadential style progression in measure 10, the fastest harmonic rhythm in the movement with wide leaps in the bass, ending with a final rolled chord. Like the cadence in phrase 1, the cadence at the end of phrase 2 also ends with pitch class C as its highest pitch. Phrase 1 comprises 2 row forms, I7 and I4. I7 and I4 are a near-combinatorial pair, where all but one pitch class is held in common between I7's first hexachord and I4's second hexachord, and vice versa. This relationship results in a great deal of invariance between the rows. The near-combinatorial relationship was also found in the second prelude, titled Night Winds. Because of the near-combinatorial relationship between the 2 rows of phrase 1, the end of row I7 in measure 2 and the beginning of row I4 in measure 3 share almost all of the same pitches. And while the outer voices might be described as a kind of chromatic voice exchange, the chords are also revoiced. This similar but not the same relationship between these 2 chords produces a sense of continuity and connection, but is not too on the nose, similar to the way in which Schoenberg disdains exact repetition in favor of developing variation. The first pentachord of phrase 1 and the last tetrachord of phrase 1, the beginning of I7 and end of I4, have a similar relationship. Although revoiced, the 2 chords share 3 common tones. The near-combinatorial relationship between the 2 rows of phrase 1 creates a vaguely palindromic impression. The soundscape undergoes a subtle metamorphosis in the second half of the phrase, similar to viewing the same sky full of stars night after night. We know that the stars are the same, but our view of them constantly shifts in an almost kaleidoscopic fashion. Invariance between I4 and RI5, pitch classes B, C, D flat, G flat, connects phrases 1 and 2. Phrase 2 comprises 2 row forms, RI5 and R8. Because RI5 and P8 are a combinatorial pair, the first hexachords of RI5 and R8 replicate pitch class content. As the example on the bottom of the slide shows, this relationship results in many similar subsets between the 2 row forms. The final chord of the movement repeats the antepenultimate harmony, so that the end of the movement does not align with the end of row R8. I will now play phrase 2. As in phrase 1, phrase 2 reveals several similar but not the same relationships. One example occurs between measure 6, the first chord of phrase 2, and measure 10, the last chord of the piece. The replication of hexachords between rows RI5 and R8, as shown on the previous slide, would have made it easy for Lutyens to simply recapitulate exact sonorities. However, she shifts the groupings so that some key pitches are reproduced, although one pair is revoiced, and other voices shift to produce a familiar sounding but not exact sonority. Finally, a golden section relationship materializes in this brief prelude. There are 45 half-note durations in the movement. The golden section occurs at half-note 27, at the beginning of the highest and longest of the rolled chords. This chord is also the last fortissimo harmony. Everything heard after it is pianissimo, and it is the last rolled chord until the final harmony. The ensuing chords in measure 8 bear the singular marking echo. The fleeting starlight of Elisabeth Lutyens' Prelude No. 3 sparkles. Highly pitched rolled sonorities repeat and shift gently at unpredictable intervals. Preludes 4 through 7 offer enticing opportunities for further study. Thank you for watching.